discuss today something that kind of builds on what we've discussed in the past or other episodes of the main event, and that's neck reining. One of the things we've done is a three-part series on controlling the face, the shoulder, and the hip, and so hopefully at this point you've really got a good control and grasp of that, because neck reining is something that we should start from the beginning, but is also something that as time goes on we perfect. Neck reining is simply adding the outside rein and asking this horse to go in the opposite direction of the rein that I'm applying. So if I apply the right rein, the horse should go to the left. If I apply the left rein, the horse should go to the right. Now some people may say, you know, I'm right English, so I don't need to worry about neck reining, or maybe barrels, I can ride with two hands, or some events may not be specific to neck reining, but even with a two-handed rein, you still have to have things align, and you still have to be able to put this horse point him in a direction, and his body has to follow that direction in order to get the response that you want. So just simply asking the horse, whether it's two-handed and pulling this horse's face to the left, does not necessarily mean that I'm going to get him to go in that direction. He can still run or move in the opposite direction of what my hand's asking him to do. So the neck reining is going to put a lot of touch and feel on our horse, and hopefully in all of our events, but things even like calf roping, team roping, where we're busy and doing other things, this horse should be pretty responsive to the rein that I'm applying. So it's really simple. What we've been doing in previous things is pulling this horse's nose around and asking him to follow with his body. What we're going to be doing today is simply applying the outside rein, listening for the response the horse is going to give, and then reinforcing that response based on either a positive or negative reinforcement. So I'll start just at a walk. We're always going to start at an easy thing, and I'd advise you maybe to ride two-handed in the beginning, and even maybe you're riding a 2-year-old and you're still kind of pull reining the horse around a little bit. You can still apply some of these techniques to set him up for a neck rein. So I'll ride two-handed today to show you, and all I'm going to do is when I'm walking straight, I'm in neutral position. My hands or reins are not in either side of the neck. They're not on the neck. But as I come back around to you, what I'm going to do is simply just, I'm walking in this direction, I'm going to put my right rein on first. I get no response, so I take my left hand and pull that nose to this direction until the body follows. Once it does, I let go. That's simple. I put the rein on the left side of the horse's face, and he follows around. No problem. I don't have to use my inside hand to reinforce that. Maybe just a little nose there, and then I let go. It's that simple in order to get this horse to neck rein. But what may happen is problematic things. They don't start that way. So what can usually happen is a number of things. If you experience things like you put the neck rein on, the outside rein, and the horse's body stays straight, it doesn't flex or go to that direction that you want. That's a pretty common problem. The horse just doesn't understand what you're asking him to do. It's an easy fix, and that's just taking that inside rein. So for instance, I want to go to the right. I put the left rein on. My horse's body stays straight. So I take that inside rein, pull the nose to the point that I want, and along with that, I wait for the feel of that body to curve with the pull of that rein. Now, one of the common problems is that we hang on to that rein. And when we hang on to that rein, we create a dependent horse. And so what I want to make sure I do is show that horse where I want him to be, put his neck and his head in that proper alignment, feel, most importantly, for his body to follow with it, and then release. That release is the key to the whole thing. If I hang on to that horse, I create a dependent horse. He has to have that inside rein in order to turn. What I want to create is a horse that I apply that outside rein and do not have to pull the inside rein, and he automatically turns to that direction and his body follows. One of the things that people don't really think about is it's not just my hand that's doing the work, it's also got to be my legs. So let's go maybe a few months down the road. We've been doing some of that exercise, and this is what we expect to have happen. I do a lot of this on an older horse even, and that's just doing a little figure eight. So I'm teaching neck rein here. I'm going to apply that outside rein, which is the right rein. He's not looking very much. That's pretty common. So I'm just going to take that inside rein, hold it where I want, wait for his body to follow around, let go. Okay, and then I'm going to come back to you, go to the other side. I'm looking for the curvature of the horse's body. He still stands too straight for me, so I'm going to take him and hold him. But I'm using my legs too. If you notice how much I'm using my legs, I'm driving that body forward. That's the part that people don't really think a lot about in asking this horse to follow through with the neck rein. and that's a leg. Everything I do, I want to drive this horse as much as I can. So let's test him again. We'll put the outside rein on, use our feet, getting the body to come, but not really getting the face. So again, I'm going to pull him back in, drive his body forward, wake him up just a little bit, and once I get him there, release. Try him again, pick that up the outside rein. There we go, there we go. Now we got him to kind of wake up and look that direction. Back to the right, outside rein, lots of curve, lots of bend there. That's what I want to see right there. Whoa. And so after just applying a little bit of a refresher course to him just there and being consistent with the cue, I add that outside rein first. He doesn't respond the way I want. Use that inside rein to show his face where to be. But probably the most important part of that is using my leg to drive that body forward. Now I'm not hitting him enough to make him go jump forward or scoot forward quickly. I'm just giving him enough incentive to say there's a lot of pressure here. I'd rather not be there, so I'll go ahead and do what you're asking me to do. And then when I let go, I'd let go legs and hand to give him that really good release point. Very easy concept, but I can pick it up at the jog. Once I get this down, maybe pick it up at the jog and do the same kind of things. Outside rein, lots of look. I like that. Back straight. I'm going to go back to the left. Outside rein, lots of look. I like that. Using my leg. Pick up a little bit more, see what kind of bend I get. There we go. Lots of leg and release. Outside rein. Not as much nose as I want to see, so I'll pick up the nose and hold it. Lots of leg and drive forward. Release. Go straight. Go back to the right. Outside rein. Lots of look there. I like that. Release. Go forward. Ooh. So just doing figure eights, little things like that to help guide that horse is an important thing. Another thing you'll notice too is that I kind of work my hand in a small box. I want to tighten up that cue as much as I can in the beginning. What you may have to do is, on a 2-year-old, you may have to show a whole lot of rein and a whole lot of hand to get that horse to curve to the direction you want. But as that horse gets knowledgeable and moves along through a series of training, I want to be able to tighten that cue up. And what I mean by that is, in the beginning I may expect a lot of hand to get the cue to happen. As we go over time, I want to get to where I can keep this hand maybe in like a 4-inch box, so to speak. So that when I'm showing him or doing anything, I don't want the judge to see me having to use my hand a whole bunch to guide this horse around. Remember too, we always said in the past that the horse goes where my hand goes. So if I want to go in a flat little turn, I may put my hand forward to point to that horse to go this way with a little bit of rein. If I really want him to make a sharp turn, I'm going to put my hand back here and kind of hope that he's going back this direction a little bit more. So remember that kind of that gearbox that you need to keep your hand in and how you can tighten up that cue simply by being consistent, using your leg, applying pressure, and making sure that you're getting to the release point. Let's look at some examples. Okay, so here's Hannah, and she's on a pretty green horse, and she is riding with an English rein, and so it's the same concept though. Even though she's going to be allowed in the English class to ride two-handed, she still wants to have control and have that horse guiding off that outside rein as much as she can. And so here she is in with a green horse. She's starting to teach the neck rein. As you notice, every time she goes to turn, she's applying that outside, her right hand here first, and then using that inside hand to bump the nose to the point that she wants. Same thing here, she goes with the outside rein, her left hand gives that horse a minute to react, and then bumps his nose to the point, pulls his nose to the point that she wants, and then she releases leg and hand, goes forward. So watch her legs too. Let's go ahead to the left again, Hannah. Watch her legs too. She's squeezing, bumping that horse forward, and you notice it's not a hold, hold, hold. It's a bump, bump, bump. She's encouraging that horse to drive himself forward. Let's go at the jog, a little bit bigger circle, Hannah. So she does this exercise at the jog. She wants to allow for a little bit more room. She's got it kind of a big framed horse, so she's going to give him a little bit more room in the jog figure eight. But she's doing the same thing. She's keeping this horse real soft with her hand, guiding with that outside rein. And the only thing I'd like to see Hannah do just a little bit more is to be a little less reactive or a little less quick with that inside hand. So if you notice, like here when we started moving up in a gear, she's getting a little quicker with outside rein, inside rein. And when she was at a walk, a little slower pace, she said outside rein, waited for a response, then inside rein. But that's pretty typical when we start to increase the speed here. Our hands get a little bit quick sometimes. So there she goes, a little slower with her reaction and getting a good reaction from her horse. Okay, thank you, Hannah. Okay, here's Ashley. She's on a fairly green horse as well, riding two-handed. And she's going to start walking squares. And this is a little bit more advanced maybe if the horse is starting to respond to that outside rein a lot. Go ahead and go left, square across. She's going to pick up, move the horse across, and then go straight. Square exercise really gets that horse to start to step across on the front end and really respond to the outside rein. Now, one thing that you might notice too with both of these horses, that's good, come back. With both of these horses, they're a little different point in their training. And this horse has a little bit of a problem of being a little stiff in his front end. And the square exercise may be a little bit farther along than what he may be ready for to really show you a really soft kind of horse and a lot of feel on the square. But it gives you an example of how she's just adding that outside rein, waiting for her. There, great, Ashley. Let's go back. Let's go to the left, turn around, and we'll go square to the right. Now, if you're this horse, you're at this point of your training and you've got a horse that's a little bit stiff and wants to move more of a flat turn instead of an arcing turn, then one thing to do is go back to a lot of that flexibility work that we talked about in manipulating the shoulder and getting control there. Because we want to make sure these horses are flexible and are capable of doing the things that we're asking. A lot of times I ask kids, to do stuff with their horses and they get frustrated because the horse won't do it. A lot of times it's not because the horse won't do it, it's just simply that he can't do it. We haven't put him in a position to be flexible enough or athletic enough or strong enough to be able to get the most out of him. So here's Ashley's last turn for this example. Applies that outside rein wonderfully, got a lot of response there and didn't have to use her inside rein very much. So last thing I'll leave you with on this exercise as she turns is watching her front feet. Get your riders to start feeling for how that front end's reacting, not just that the face is turning or that the horse is responding in some form or fashion for a change of direction, but also looking and feeling for how those feet are moving across on the front end. Thanks, Ashley. One more tip that I'll give you in watching people do this or doing this yourself is really feel what's happening underneath you. There we gave a great example for Ashley's exercise of feeling how that front end crosses in front of you and how the feet step across. But if you noticed, as she moved to the right, the outside front foot came across the inside foot. If she was going to the left, it'd be just the opposite, right foot over the left. That is the correct way we want this horse to turn around or cross over. But also it shows us that the horse is moving forward. One of the common problems that we see a lot of times is maybe somebody's trying to tighten up their turn, and when they do that, the front end stops and stays stationary, and we see the back end start to move around. At that point, you've lost the forward motion and need to make sure that you're using enough leg to keep that horse driving forward as you ask him to turn. So I hope those tips help, and again, it's just that consistency and persistence in what we're asking to do, and I guarantee you'll get a horse that's a little more responsive when you're riding and be more enjoyable.